Hey everyone, this is Phenom Hype. Welcome to another episode of All Hype No Wells podcast. Thank you for joining us this Thursday. We have a great show lineup for you. We got some brand new special guests and a couple returning guests. First off, as always, with me is the Queen of Tea and Shade, Miss Kendra Noel.
Hello.
How are we doing today, Queen? Kendra.
Fantastic. You want to
Return.
restart?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Returning with us once again is our other queen, Queen Dark. She is going to just have an amazing show. Queen, how are you?
I am great. Thank
Doing
you.
great, great as always. Returning to us once again as well is Mr. Camperzinc. Sir, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Good,
Yeah,
good.
good, good. Casino business doesn't drive you crazy yet?
All the time, dude. Even
And-
worse now.
Oh, even worse now, he says. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the casino, do not drive my man crazy like that, please. And finally, our special guest, Mr. Yee Yee Juice himself. Yee, how we doing tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, bro.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
I'm
have.
doing good, bro.
Good, thank you, man. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. We greatly appreciate it, man. Welcome to the cast. Go
No
ahead.
problem.
We're gonna get started with the first topic of the day. It doesn't matter if you're on TV, radio, podcast. There are just certain things you don't say, and I think someone messed up here. Gentleman by the name of Roger Stone. Now, if you don't know who Roger Stone, he has been a very big political activist, mostly for the Republican Party. He is actually also a good friend of Donald Trump's, President Trump's. He was on a radio show this past weekend, or past week, excuse me, and the radio host and him were kind of going back and forth, having a little banter, and the radio host was kind of asking him questions. And underneath Roger Stone's breath, he actually said, "I'm tired of arguing with this Negro." And so what happened was is that there was kind of a little static distortion, and then the radio host once again asked him, like, "Hey, what did you just say? What did you just say? Did you just say what I think you just said?" And Roger Stone was like, "No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. There's technical difficulties." But of course, it's a radio. Everything gets recorded. So with today's climate going on, how could you make something? How could you make that big of a mistake by calling an African American a Negro on live radio? How do you do that? Is my question.
He's a piece of shit.
Shit. But with that being said, is racism even stronger in today's world than it was 50 years ago? Kendra?
Well, I think that the people that we have like in the government and like who's running this country, I feel like they're all from like an older generation and they kind of grew up with it. So I don't really think a lot of them have changed. And I just think it's super disgusting that people still think like that and talk like that. Like, we just need to get over that. It's 2020. Like, accept people for who they are. Their color of their skin does not matter anything about them. Like, judge people off their character, off, like who they are as a person, not just outer appearances. I just think it's complete bullshit. And they also should switch out the government every, like, some odd years. Like, we shouldn't have the same people running this country that ran it 40 years ago because the country's not the same as it was 40 years ago.
That's very true. A lot of people have always kind of petitioned for that. Term limits for senators. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Campers Inc., we turn to you.
What was the question again?
Question is, do you think racism is as strong or stronger than it was 50 years ago?
I mean, I haven't been alive that long, so I can't say. I don't know if I can't. I don't know if we can say that it's stronger, but it's. I mean, it's definitely risen to a new level as of late,
Hmm.
and is at least televised wise is much more prevalent, much more public now than it used to be.
So basically what you're saying is that maybe it's at a new level, and maybe that was the social media outlets and everything like that. It's being shown in a much wider range than it was maybe 50 years ago. Is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Queen Dark, what do you think?
Well, Camper basically stole my answer too, but I have to agree with him. Like with all the social media outlets nowadays, like you see more of it. Like back then, they didn't have cell phones. Like you couldn't just take a video of like, someone, going off on somebody for, their color of their skin. But nowadays you can, and so you see more of it, like online and on TV and everything. I don't really think I don't know if I wouldn't say it has gotten worse, but I would definitely say it has not gotten better. It's just you see more of it because it's more available to the public.
Yee Yee Juice, what do you think?
I mean, I really haven't been that. I'm not old myself either. I think I'm the youngest right now in the party. Nah, but from what I learned from school, I'd say it probably was worse back then than it is now, because people now can, I guess, with the social media and all that, they can report more on it. So I guess it's more like stoppable now than it was then, like back then, and people change the way they looked at other people now. Not as much as much people think, like as they wanted to. But,
So it's much easier to shame a racist now than it was 50 years ago, because you are right.
oh
Technology,
yeah, for sure.
you
Yeah,
can
for sure.
you can actually, speaking of shaming, actually I had an incident here this past weekend in my hometown. A lady went up to a gardener, asked for his papers. Of all things, he went up to him and asked for his papers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's actually kind of big. I mean, I'm on Twitter and everything, and I actually saw people from other states actually posting like, "Hey, what the hell is this? What's going on?" And a couple people, it's like, "Hey, is this what's goes on in your city?" It's like, "Hey, I'm not part of that." Like, "Hey, that lady's on her own time on that." But with that being said, I don't think racism is as big as it was 50 years ago, but I do still think it's very strong. And I feel that what needs to happen is more racists need to be exposed, and I think we need to teach people that racism is bad, because you don't know racism. It's something that's taught. You're not born to be a racist. It's something that's taught. So I, I,
Mhm.
I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
I think
And you can choose to follow it or not.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I think just over the years, I think just generation after generation after generation, we'll just the racism is going to kind of. I mean, I don't think we're going to ever eliminate 100%. I always think there's going to be at least that little batch that's always going to be a little bit racist, have some very just bad thoughts. But I think as the most part, I think we'll do really well as a society, as humans, and just kind of really change the way things are looked at here in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, I think if we keep up on like the calling people out, and not allowing people to be racist, and if you see it, like make sure, like, if you can record it or you can talk to them or something, just spreading knowledge, and people just need to let that shit go. Like, just don't judge someone off the color of their skin and like outward appearances. It's just ridiculous at this point. Judge people for like who they are as a human being, not by looks, and like let's keep pushing. And also systematic racism needs to end as well. Like that people like with power and money who control like who lives where, and the government systems, those need to be really deep cleaned, and fresh people in there who have good intentions for the human race.
Well, speaking of which, Miss Kendra, this next topic is your topic of tea and shade. What do you have for this week?
So, as we've been following the beauty guru drama,
We have.
Jeffree Star finally responded. He came out with a video, and a lot of people aren't happy with it, and I'm kind of surprised. I think it's a very smart move. If you don't know, basically he came out with a video like a month after Tati made a video calling him out, and he kept it very respectful. He took accountability for not making the best decisions, and that he's doing better and he's growing as a person. And then he also addressed the Black Lives Matter, which I thought was very smart, and good, because he has such a huge platform. So maybe if people weren't really informed on some issues, he touched on it. So he might be educating some people that didn't know about it, which I appreciate, because, I mean, as I've been saying the past few episodes, they need to arrest the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor, and we're still waiting on that.
Here's my thing. I actually watched the video of Jeffree Star here, and I'm actually one of the people who disagree with it. I just did not feel it was genuine. I mean, I felt like really what he did is he hired a couple writers to say the most, professional, poetic things that he could say, and he kept it into a narrative towards like, hey, I know I messed up. I felt like it was like, a bully finally being caught, and he's saying his sorries and everything. He's a little slap on the wrist. But I think behind the scenes, he's going to go back and keep doing the same thing. I don't think his attitude is going to change. I think he's going to do the same things. I just think he's going to be a little bit more, behind the scenes with it, a little bit more closeted with it, a little more cryptic.
But I will say, like, you aren't a fan and you haven't been following him. Like, so, like, how he is now compared to how he was, like, a few years ago is, like, totally different. Like, the old Jeffrey would have came out with receipts. He would have showed screenshots. He would have, even Tati in her video said that he can take down almost every single person in the beauty community with the shit that he has. Mm-hmm. He could have done all that. He could have released that voice memo where someone said that, like, James Charles sexually assaulted them. He could have released that. He could have done so much. But instead, he was like, you know what? I'm just going to apologize for having parts in it, and I'm going to keep it pushing because, let's be real, he's a businessman. He has a business, and... Mm-hmm. Even if he never came out with anything, I would still buy his makeup because I enjoy the quality of it.
Here's go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was like, that's just my 2 cents, but I am a fan of his, so.
Here's my one thing about it is that why would you have all that information? I know you understand, having receipts is very important. I do. I really, really do. But I don't know. I just think holding stuff like that over people's head, I don't think that's a good look either.
I mean, I don't really think so either, but at the same time, he's been fucked over so many times, True. And I think a lot of it has to do with, like, people just kind of fucking him over, and then him just kind of being like, well, you remember that one time, like, that you said this about so-and-so? I still have those text messages, so, like, don't fuck with me.
Queen, you got anything to say? What do you think?
Well, I don't really follow that stuff, but hearing about it from Kendra has honestly kind of intrigued me a little bit. I mean, I kind of, like, I don't know, I think that, like, having receipts is important, like, you were saying, Phenom, but, like, I don't really think he's necessarily holding it over their heads, like, you have to watch your own back, like, you have to put yourself before others,
Facts, especially in that kind of industry.
Yeah, and you were saying, like, he's been, screwed over so many times that he kind of has to do it, He has to watch his own back, Nobody else.
Yeah, because no one's watching it for him.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I would say, would this be a lesson to himself to maybe surround yourself with better people? Maybe
yeah, I
learn
think
to
he
trust
has
different
been.
people. That would be my case then. Why would you keep associating with people who who are going to stab you in the back over and over again? But I mean,
think he finally kind of learned, and I think he's doing better as a human being, but I don't really know him personally. I can just go by, like, what I see, but I will also say that I think it was really respectable of what he said about Shane, because people are, like, throwing Shane under the bus and trying to cancel him and all this stuff, and even, like, the whole Morphe fallout thing about them wanting Jeffrey to drop Shane. In the video, he was like, Shane's one of my best friends, and I love him. And I was just like, you go. Because, if someone was coming for, like, one of my friends, like, I'll always stick up for my friends, too. Even if they're in the wrong, I'll be like, bitch, you're in the wrong, but I still got your back, All
right, well, we're going to move on to our next topic. And the next topic is going to be very interesting because I'm pretty sure all of us have a very opinionated opinion on this. So the next topic is actually staying friends with your ex. Now, I know we talked about, having sex with your exes, but staying friends with your exes is a whole different ballgame, I feel. People sometimes, they can have that, friendship, like, hey, they can have good breakups. Me, personally, I really don't have good breakups. It's usually, hi, bye, screw you, bye, I don't want to talk to you again, I don't want to see you again. There might be, like, a message, like, a year or two later, it's like, or we run to each other, like, oh, hey, what's going on? But for the most part, my breakups I'm really not friends with a lot of my exes. I think I maybe one, maybe two at most. I'm friends with the exes, and these are girls I dated like 10, 12 years ago. So nothing recent. But with that being said, do you think it's smart to be friends with your ex? Campers, what do you think?
Oh,
loaded question.
You probably don't want to start. You probably don't want to start with me because I actually have.
No, I do want to start with you.
A long story. Okay, so it depends. I feel like depends on the situation. For me personally, I have 2 ex-wives.
one that I'm friends with, one that I'm not. And unfortunately, the one that I'm not, I actually have a daughter with, and so that situation is kind of
Murky.
complicated.
Yeah.
Complicated and murky, and just it's a weird situation that I'm not really gonna get into. But
No, definitely not. You don't need to. Don't worry. Respect that.
and then my other ex, like we've been friends. I've been kind of trying to kind of pull that away, just because it's not really healthy. At least not for myself. It's not healthy. Just because of the terms of how things went down and how things played out and how we're trying to be friends.
Yeah.
Is complicated in the emotional sense.
Definitely understand. Yeah, emotional is a very big key in relationships. It really is.
And it's the same thing. I don't have any kids with her, but I was very involved with her kids when we were together. So like just that whole relationship in that sense is makes things weird and awkward, because you're still having a mutual agreement that you still want to like have some type of contact with the kids, because you know that on their end, like, it wasn't their fault what happened between the two of you or between the two of us, and so you're still trying to be okay in that sense, but at the same time, like, it just makes things awkward.
Definitely agree. Queen, what do you think?
Well, as you know, I tried to be friends with one of my exes, and yeah, it didn't really work out.
Well, why didn't it work out? Tell me.
I've never, basically, like, he basically, I think, only kept me around to be like a fuck buddy. So, yeah. One day after I started talking to this other guy, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to be friends anymore." It's like, that's so like toxic, and like the way our relationship ended, like, it wasn't good. Like, we both had wrongs, more him than me because he's an idiot. But
Of course.
it's true. I'm not gonna tell the story though. But anyways, I think, like Camper was saying, like, it just depends on the situation whether you should be friends with your ex or not. Like, I was with my ex for 2.5 years and we tried to be friends and it didn't work. I think it's just like the emotional concept of it. Like, we were emotionally involved at one point, and then all of a sudden, not being emotionally involved or romantically involved, just being friends, like, it just usually doesn't end up working out. So,
Yee Yee, what do you think?
I mean,
You think
I
you can be
never
friends with your
got.
ex?
I mean, I kind of am right now, but then I'm kind of like trying to stop it because I see how it's not good. Because like, especially in my situation, I mean, I'm not gonna explain it, but even at that, I never have been in a relationship for like over a year. You know, I haven't got into a point like that with somebody. Hopefully, soon, but I ain't really tripping about it. But yeah, it just really depends on the situation with one another. Depends on how I went down and stuff like that.
So you're saying that it depends on how it breaks down. So you just kind of mentioned, like, without going into detail, you said your ex, you guys broke up. You just kind of remaining friendly, but you're kind of wanting to pull away. Kind of sounds like a Campers thing as well, and even a little bit of Queen.
Yeah.
So my thing is here. I'll flip this. What do you think it would take for you two to remain friends? If you don't mind me asking. If not, sorry, no worries.
What I think I mean, I think it's too far to even attempt to be friends now at this point.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's unreconcilable. He's saying. Okay. Kendra.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Kendra.
kind of like what Juice kind of like touched on. I think it depends like how it ends. If you're really in love with someone, I think it's kind of hard to ever be friends with them because like a part of you will always not want to see them in a relationship. Kind of like you always kind of miss them, I think. But I think if it was just kind of like casual, or you guys like kind of were friends and started like hooking up and dating, and then kind of didn't work out, I feel like, yeah, there always might be like some kind of different spark, you know. But I think it's possible. I think it really just depends on how it is. And when you have kids, it's definitely makes it a little more interesting for sure.
Yeah, playing kids, having dating someone who has kids, I always feel it's a different aspect. It's a different kind of dating because you are entering, I mean, it's a package deal no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the biggest key is, are the kids going to like you? I think that's always the biggest thing. Is the kids like me? Am I going to like the kids? You kind of build that chemistry, that rapport with the kids, just as much as you are with the person that you're trying to date.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. I think it's a huge thing. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about friends with exes, and it sounds like our panel says not really going to happen unless it's special circumstances. But now moving on to our next topic, we are going to be talking about speaking before you know the whole truth. So what I mean by that, recently, I'm not. I will be very professional. I'm not going to throw too much shade here. Because you all behind the scenes.
I know Queen and I are like, throw that shade, and he's always like, nah.
No, what I mean by that is, I'll give you a little bit of story. So there was an incident that happened between a good friend of mine and an acquaintance, you could say. Things were said, and I didn't come out and say anything right away because I didn't know the full story. I didn't get the details. So this person, I forgot her name. Anyways, I will say she's immature. She's a very immature girl who doesn't know what she's talking about. But what I will say is that she said I was a racist, I was a pig, I was a scumbag and trash because I didn't say something right away. And I even asked her, like, hey, do you know the full story? And she didn't reply. So that tells me that you're ignorant and you don't want to know the full story. You just want to, gallivant and hear this one side of the story, and you want to go, talk and spread rumors and talk trash. Like, I'm
it's
sorry.
different when you're friends with someone, like, if you're kind of a stranger with her, then, like, I guess it would make sense. But if you're actually kind of friends with her, I don't think that's cool.
With that human, we're not putting names or genders on anything like that. But I'm just saying, I don't understand why people have this fascination of running with one side of the story without hearing the other side of it. Because me personally, I always feel that people will make up a story and always try to paint themselves the victim and always leave out little key details because someone doesn't act a certain way unless you do something like that. There's got to be a reason why you're antagonizing, you're poking them with a stick. But you're going to leave all that out, but make yourself play like the victim. So my question to all of you is, why do you think people always want to play the victim card when they're telling a story? Queen, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, to make people feel bad for them, of course. Like, all people want is for people to pay attention to them and feel bad for them, feel sorry for them.
But why? That makes no sense to me. Why would you want to?
I know.
If you want attention, be yourself. Be me. Be people. Why do you need to have this necessity to where I need all the attention? I want the attention on me. All eyes on me. Why do people?
Maybe they don't get like a lot of attention in real life or something like that, or like their parents didn't love them enough.
Yeah.
Not trying to like be rude about that, but I'm just saying, parental love is important.
Well,
Queen,
yeah.
continue.
I mean, certain people go looking for attention online because they don't get it in real life, like you were saying, like, and that is throwing shade, but anyways, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous that people have to go to such extremes. Like, if you don't know the whole story, then shut the fuck up. Like, it's not hard. Like, people just want to have a reason to be mad about something. Like, go somewhere else. Like, don't fuck with other people's business if you don't know, like, their whole story.
Yee Yee Juice, what do you think?
What was the question again?
Why do you think people only like to listen to one side of the story and not get the full story?
Why do you think that they only like listening to one side of the story?
Yeah, like why do people get hyped up on, like, say someone came to you and said you're a racist for not,
Yeah.
but there's a whole nother story that you don't know or they don't know about. But they're running only with the one story that they were told that's negative about you. Why do you think people do that? Why do you think people don't come ask you for your side of the story? They just run with the one story that they heard from the other mouth.
If you think about it, if there's even like people like that, it's probably because they already don't like you first of all. So they just want you to fall. They want you to fall and hurt and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the main reasons why that they don't want to hear the other side of the story, because they don't want to hear that they're in the wrong. They want to be right, and they, like I said, they probably already don't like you in the first place.
So you're saying that they're being a little bit of a snaky, you could say, or being a little snake in the grass.
Yeah, like they never really did like you in the first place.
So they'll be very upfront to you in the face, be like, "Oh, hi, you're so cool," but behind your back they're probably talking, this and that and every other thing else behind your back.
Yeah, or like they just said it like to your face already, like they don't like you, like they're not playing snake.
I'll say this: if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I don't like you," I will still respect that person because that person came up to me, said, "Hey, I don't like you," and I said, "Okay, that's fine." Now I know this person doesn't like me. I don't have to worry about putting attention. I don't have to put any time into this person. See, I think it's always hard when you have someone who's kind of like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Blah blah blah. They're really nice and friendly with you. And you're like, "Oh, this person might be kind of cool." You put a little time, but you find out like a week or two later, they're just stabbing in the back, saying every single horrible thing about you. And then you try to confront them. They're like, "Oh, I never said that. No, my words got screwed around." Then they try to twist it and lie.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks.
Or they'll just come out the other way and like, "Yeah, I don't like you. What's up? You feel me?"
What's up, cut?
Yeah, they'll just come at you in the other. Like, there's a whole lot of ways to respond to that.
Kendra, and I know you want to talk. I know I can feel it just boiling. I know you want to get it off your chest. So what's going on?
Okay, so I feel like learning both sides is important if you care about both sides. So, like, if my best friend comes to me and is like, "Hey, like, this is what it is, like, this situation happened," I'm not gonna like go talk to the other person and be like, "Hey, did you say this?" Unless I care about that other person too. Like, if it's a disagreement between friends, then sure, I'll be like, "Hey, like, what was said? Like, can we work this out?" But like I said earlier, like, I'll always defend my friend, even if I think you're in the wrong. I feel like I would help educate, but still defend you. But in some situations, I feel like a lot of people who should learn both sides don't. And then someone an asshole. Sorry. Side note. And
Kendra's pop brownie's kicking in.
Sorry, we're playing a PvE mission and we're finished and someone decided to murder everybody.
Okay.
But I just think that it's really important to learn both sides to make an educated choice on your words. Also, don't be a fake bitch. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't talk shit about someone and then when you get called out, cry about it and be like, "What do you mean? I didn't, what are you talking about?" Like, no, own your shit. If you talk about someone and they confront you, be like, "Yeah, bitch, I said that about you. So what?" Like, change my mind or whatever you want to say. Basically, don't be a bitch. Or if you do, own it. Like me.
Campers, floor is yours.
Yeah, like those are all valid points that everybody touched upon. Like especially like what Yee was saying about, maybe that person just don't like you to begin with, and they just wanted a reason to not, they just want a reason to not be on your side. And the same thing with what Kendra was talking about, with somebody that actually wants to like understand what's going on and understand both sides of the story versus somebody that's just like immediately just trying to pick a side just to pick a side.
Yeah.
But like upon the like to touch upon like your original question about like why people spin try to spin it into their favor is because like they're trying to get you on their side and have you try to sympathize and empathize with them versus before you before you get like the real story or the other side of the story from the other person's point of view and piece things together, kind of like, a recent situation that we or all know of, like me especially, like I don't really know, I wasn't there, so I don't know what was going on exactly or what was said, but like I'm not gonna pick sides. I'm just trying to understand what the situation was and how things transpired and why things got to where they got to, because it like there's obviously there's bits and pieces that I'm missing from the story that of like where like why it got to the point where it got to, because it doesn't seem like it should have even turned into something like that.
Yeah. Well, here's my one thing is that what happens to the person or the people that join that side of the force, and the whole other side comes out, like the actual truth comes out like a week later. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I hyped you, if I backed you, if I defended you, and I get a whole nother side of the story that I didn't know about and you didn't tell me, please believe I'm gonna be pissed and I'm gonna not talk to you just because you lied to me and you made me look bad. Like, I feel that's gonna I feel that happens to so much. I feel like, they say the truth will always set you free, the truth will always come out, and I do truly believe that the truth will always come out sooner or later.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is what I will tell people. Don't be a dumbass. Do not send me 6-7 messages. Don't try to say horrible, mean things to me. For you to say these things to me after I helped guide you and supported you through your just your multiple issues, for you to do this and spit in my face, I'm sorry. You're lucky I don't just, burn you down right now. And by burn you down, I mean just expose you. I don't mean that actually like setting her on fire or this person on fire. Sorry.
But like, damn, you're savage, cuz.
No. But with that being said, we're gonna move on to a little bit happier of a topic. And yes, Kendra, I know you're happy. I know you're grinning right now because I threw some shade. I do know this. I know you are too, Queen.
You deserve to throw that shade because, to be honest, like one person's actions does not reflect on every other person, and like this one instance that happened isn't an excuse to go off on people. Like if it was a recurring instance, then like sure, I mean you might have a valid point but it was one fucking instance, so grow the fuck up.
Yeah. Now, moving on to our last topic, we're gonna keep it fun, is what can't you live without? I want you to give me 3 things that you cannot live without.
Okay, first of all, are we talking people or are we just talking products? Or like things?
Just things. So it can be a human,
okay.
It can be a product, it can be a thing.
Oh, okay, so it can be. Okay.
So it can be whatever you want it to be. But what are 3 things you cannot live without? Queen Dark.
Oh, why'd you start with me first?
I started with you because I know you wanted to answer. Talk to me.
I mean, there are lots of things that come to mind.
Oh, give me your 3 favorites. Yeah. I'm surprised that was actually not on the leaderboard. Like, if we're playing Family Feud, number 1 answer? What is it, Queen? What can't we live without? Number 1 answer.
Oh my god.
Russian water. Russian water. Russian water.
I mean, food and water. I mean,
give me specifics. That's so general. Give me specifics.
We want to hear the juice stuff. What is that? Food and water.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. My family.
Okay, family's 1.
Dearly.
Okay.
My best friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Who?
Okay.
Who? No, I'm kidding.
My best friend in Kansas.
Okay, your best friend. She's a very nice girl. And number 3.
That's. Oh my god.
Vodka it is. Okay, so vodka number 3 for you.
You know, I thought about
are,
saying that as number 1, but I'm like, I'm not an alcoholic, so I'm not gonna do that.
but you are
Russian
my
water.
vodka.
Sound like
You are my vodka boo, so you're good.
That's that Russian water.
Yee Yee Juice. 3 things that you could not live without.
3 things I can't live without.
And no, meth cannot be an answer.
Oh fuck. 3 things. You said anything though, right?
Anything,
like
yes,
objects. Probably. I ain't gonna lie. My bed.
Bet. Hey,
I like my bed.
hey, love the bed.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I like my bed.
Good answer.
Okay. So you said 3, right? 3
Yep,
things,
got
right?
2 more.
Okay. Probably my family. Yeah.
Family?
I
Okay,
love my
family.
family, of course.
Strawberries.
And then the 3rd thing, man.
Strawberries.
Nah, bro. I can live without those. I don't know. It's kind of tough because I mean,
We need one more, brother. I know you love tacos.
pie is just food. If we're being
Food?
honest, it's like straight up food. Yeah.
Okay. Miss Kendra. 3 things.
Okay, so my family.
Okay.
I couldn't leave without my little one. Skincare.
Shout out, little
'cause-
Kendra.
Yes. And lastly, I don't know. I'm like, I think family and skincare really covers. I guess makeup. You know.
I would put that in. I would put that in skincare.
Okay, so if I can have skincare and makeup as one, then the last one. I mean, yeah, maybe wine. You know. Or like a
What a
fruity
lush.
drink, like a
What a lush.
permanent fruity drink if I'm like on an island.
Or you
You
mean
know,
just in your
why
living
not?
room? Just like, can I get a drink? Thank you. Here you go.
She wants to keep her foo drinks, man.
Yeah,
She could
so
have like
delicious.
a strawberry margarita or like a pina colada.
Yeah,
Like a Mai
Yeah,
Tai.
pina coladas come
like the
through.
occasional
Pina
fruity
colada's my
drink.
favorite.
So
I
good.
can't drink it.
Oh,
Hey, I can't either
He's-
legally.
He's like, I'm over
Oh my gosh,
here
we
sipping.
don't condone
He's like, I'm
underage
over here
drinking.
sipping
Hey.
on my Kool-Aid, cuz.
Hey,
good.
time out. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh, come on.
I'll be 21 in like
He
less
said
than a
I'm
month.
out.
What
Said
does
I'm
that
out.
mean?
No.
actually, the funny thing is, both of you are from Texas. That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Yeah.
for real?
Texas?
Yeah.
Where you from? If you don't. Yeah.
North Texas? Like
Nah, but where?
hour
Like
north of
Houston,
Dallas?
Dallas.
No, an hour north
Oh.
of Dallas.
Sneaky's
okay.
in San
So
Antonio.
you're like unknown
Oh.
type city.
Yeah.
Camper. 3 things.
Should I? Well, for me,
For you.
video games in
There's
general.
one.
Just that's
Yeah.
my
Ooh,
that's
that
my
was
my
a
stress
good one.
relief
Yes.
Ain't gonna lie.
for me. Taco trucks.
Taco. Hey, there you go.
Mm,
Nothing like a 1:30 in the morning
appreciate the
taco
support,
truck.
Appreciate the support.
And
Like you would be at a taco truck, Sneaky. Get out of here.
I'll probably working there. You talking about? I'll be
Yee Yee
eating all
Juice's
the food in
tacos.
the bag, bro.
and the third one, just friends in general. Like you guys, just my own real life friends. Just like
Aww. He
was
said
talking-
you guys.
I'm not-
No, he
yeah,
doesn't
I'm
mean
not
you.
trying to be cheesy. I'm just just friends, just like friends in general. Because you know, without having a support system, like things get rough.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very, very
I
true.
agree.
For me personally, I will say liquor. The ladies.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
And
sir.
probably my dog.
You say yes, sir.
I forgot about that one.
my
That means you can live without him, right?
Yeah, hey.
With that being said, moving on to our final thoughts. Yee Yee Juice, you have been a phenomenal guest. We thank you so much for coming on the show. We hopefully have you on again in the future. Do you have any last parting words for us?
Nah, I don't.
Man, a few words. I appreciate it. Queen Dark, as always, you have joined us and graced us. Any last words?
Don't be a little bitch to
Don't.
your supposed friends, and just be nice, be yourself, and just don't be a bitch.
Camperzinc.
Here, I'll leave you guys with a pickup line.
Oh,
Ooh.
pickup line. I might need to use this line when I talk to the ladies.
Two pickup lines actually.
Oh,
One's short and sweet that most people don't know about. It's I want to be your ex-boyfriend's stuntman. I want to do everything he never had the courage to do.
Yes, sir.
I like that. That's clever.
Okay, and then the second one is, it's not an original one or anything. I actually heard it on Wild 'N Out. If anybody knows that show.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
that's a big subject. So let's get into
And
it.
it goes, you remind me of the 20 letters of the alphabet. There's 26 letters. What are you talking about? Oh, my bad. How could I forget? URAQT.
Oh man, that was a little bit cheesy.
Hold up. Wait, hold on. Hold up. That's still only 25 letters. What are you talking about? You missing one. Oh, silly me. I'll give you that D later.
Okay. Nah, that was corny, bro.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna go to my Tinder or my Bumble account, and I'm gonna use that first pickup line. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna use that.
The exes stuntman?
Yeah, the extra stuntman. I like that. The Queen of Teen Shade, Miss Kendra. Any final thoughts?
Be kind to people, and if you talk shit about someone, own your shit and don't play victim and cry about it. And
Don't be a bitch.
Kermit T. Frog memes for life. Yeah.
You are. I
Inside joke. If you know, you know.
Well, once again, thank you to Queen Dark, Camperzinc, Yee Yee Juice, and Miss Kendra. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching, or actually listening to another episode of All Hype No Wells. Hope you guys listen to this coming Sunday show where we have a lot of great topics and some brand new surprise guests for y'all. This is Phenom Hype. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much.